Hello and welcome to today's feature, which is a bit of a recollection to 2004 and the origins of the series SFAMT, or rather självdestruktivitet född av monotona tankegångar. In other words, self-destructive behavior born out of monotonous trains of thought. And it's a conceptual series I started in 2004, which is instrumental recordings based on certain themes from different experiences, and immersing myself into these very minimalistic, ritualistic kinds of compositions is what really ignited like a second wave of hypothermia and made its real characteristics, because that's when I found the true voice that is hypothermia and what it has become since then. And the first part was recorded in the same session as the split recording, and so far it's only out on a tape I released myself and a very limited vinyl by an Italian label with my friends in back then Durtheim, which consisted of 2 people, and one of them is Peter, and he was present on all the recordings of hypothermia and helped us to just set up everything and record, and he was the only one who had access to a car and had a license, which helps a lot if you're recording in an old house in the countryside several kilometers from the closest city or person for that sake. Especially when getting equipment there and so on. And of course the other member who I got in contact with just some months before then was of course Nachtzeit of Luster, who was my drummer for those 3 recording sessions I had with him in 2004, 2005 and 2006, each with about 6 to 7 months between them. This one was in the autumn of 2004. We rented something that was like a music room in the basement of a school in Östersund, which is where they live. It's about 4 hours east of Trondheim in Norway, to give you a little bit of perspective. And it was about 900 kilometers north of where I live, and where I still am. In other words, we couldn't just rehearse any day or meet up for just anything. But at this time We had been in contact for a while and felt like we had a good connection, and we decided to make the release of their first demo with their project Durthan on my label Insikt, which I can make another video about sometime when I feel I have enough to say about it, because there is a lot, but I definitely have to gather my thoughts about it so it doesn't just become a rant of some kind. I feel I will have enough of those as time goes by. So, in 2004 we met for the first time, just when I had gotten their tape covers from print, and we were getting ready to make our split recording and also record another demo, which was the first of the series of SFAMT recordings. And also this is when we recorded the first edition of Ur Ångest född, Aus Angst geboren, born through or from anxiety, which is a real milestone for the trademark atmosphere of Hypothermia. The lyric is short and dark, yet a bit poetic, but not in a ridiculous way, and very, very honest and real. And the song is of course very minimalistic and repetitive, but it's also one of my first songs that have something like a structure. And the name for that split, Lead Yourself to Failure, that's a quote that was out of something they had written about one of their other songs that was for their first album, which never got recorded or released, unfortunately. But to this day I really appreciate the 6 songs that got released by that project. It's very dense, dark atmosphere, it's melancholic, and it feels like being swallowed by shadows, which is more comforting than it may sound. So I suggest you check it out. And of course, it's a bit more bleak than what Nachtzeit has been doing since then. But if you like Luster, I think you should be able to find something that you like in his previous works too. Back to this release. It was a bit before I really started putting more thought into my concepts and titles, so that's why it was simply a quote from something that didn't happen. But of course I assumed that it would be something else back then. But the recording itself is what matters, the material. And I was there for a couple of days, and we, as usual, spent more time on setting up everything to get that raw, intense atmospheric feeling that we required for the recordings. And by doing that, by spending more time and focus on that, you barely need to do any editing after that. So during that recording session, we made the 2 SFAMT songs, 1 and 2, obviously, and 2 split songs for our tape and vinyl, which we made 2 songs each for. And then we found we had enough time to make something else a bit special, so we recorded also the demo EP Svarta nyanser av ljus. Black Shades of Light, which was a very limited tape, 49 copies first, through the now less active label called Anti-Humanism. Who made several really interesting black metal and noise releases through the years. And some years later we did a second edition in 100 copies, and a few years after that I licensed it as a limited edition picture disc vinyl to a German label, Funeral Industries, and that's it for that material. It will never be featured anywhere else, and I have about 1 or 2 boxes left of the vinyl, so that's that. Same with the tape of SFAMT. First I released it through an American label of a friend of mine, Merton, and I think he made maybe 300 copies. And then about 2 or 3 years later I licensed it to an Australian label called Winterreich, and same as with the vinyl, it was then released on Funeral Industries as limited vinyl in 2 different colors. And that's that. It won't be anything else. But those of you who have a keen ear will probably have noticed that half of the first song is the second half of Svag fysisk lusta from the Sköld album, because it's a very important piece of music for me, because it's one of those one riff songs, but it feels amazing to play it. And someday, probably this summer in 2019, I will make you a little video that shows how I compose some of my songs and how I'm playing them. Because generally I believe that you should really perform a song if you don't do it by ear, but some pieces I can. Without feeling dishonest or shallow about it, to just give you a demonstration of how it sounds or looks like when I get into a trance when I play, and hopefully you will feel something similar. And that's what I can think about for now about 2004. As you know, we're here. Not a lot happened sound-wise or recording-wise that year, but the few things that did happen were very important and started a huge wave that came to affect everything that I thought I knew about composing music, which turned out to be nothing. And since then I have continuously been learning and going deeper, and I look back to the memories of these experiences and the friendships I made with a lot of fondness. I wouldn't be who I am today without those recordings, and Hypothermia would definitely be something else. Thank you for listening and watching. I hope you enjoy what you get, and if you have further questions about these times, these recordings, let me know in the comments. And if you already haven't, or if you're new here, please subscribe. If you need more information, there are some links below the video, and if you can't find what you want there, as I said, feel free to make a comment and I will do my best to get back to you. And as always, thank you for watching. Skål!